The room went silent the second my mother's words cut through the air like a blade. "Dreams don't pay bills, Emily," she said, setting down her wine glass with a smirk. "Get a real job or move out." Everyone froze. My cousins mid-bite, my aunt looking everywhere but at me. I could feel heat crawl up my neck. I laughed once, soft and shaky. "You're serious?" I asked. She tilted her head, smile sharp. "Completely." My stepdad cleared his throat. "Let's not ruin dinner." But Mom waved him off. "She needs reality, not pity." My stomach twisted. Across the table, my brother snickered. "Guess painting walls isn't paying rent, huh?" I wanted to scream, but I stayed still, nails digging into my palm. Under the table, I hit record on my phone. Habit, not revenge. My husband, Daniel, said nothing. Just kept chewing, eyes on his plate. That silence cut deeper than her words. When dinner ended, Mom stood to hug me. "You'll thank me someday." I whispered, "I already do," and walked out before my voice broke. In the car, Daniel sighed. "She's not wrong, Em. You should think practical." I stared out the window, jaw tight. That night, while he slept, I replayed the recording and promised myself, never again. The next morning sunlight felt harsh, unforgiving. Daniel scrolled his phone while sipping coffee. I asked, "Did it bother you?" "What she said?" He didn't look up. "You know how Mom is." "She's my mom, not yours," I said flatly. He shrugged. "You overreact sometimes." "She's just old school." My throat burned. "She humiliated me in front of everyone." "Because you keep chasing this art thing," he snapped. "It's been years." Maybe she's right. That sentence shattered something small but vital. I said nothing more. After he left, I checked our bank app. My breath caught. Every cent from our joint account had been transferred out overnight. I scrolled through statements. Heart racing. Recipient: M. Grant Holdings. My mother's company. My hands shook as I screenshotted everything. Evidence 1. A strange calm settled over me. She wanted me broke? Fine. I'd start from zero. That evening, Daniel texted, "Mom's handling bills now. Don't stress." I typed back, "I'm not stressed. I'm learning." I spent the night backing up files, sketches, passwords, quietly building a digital escape. Betrayal didn't even sting anymore. It just focused me. I used to love mornings, the smell of paint, the way color changed with the light. I'd been freelancing as a digital stager, turning empty rooms into dream homes for realtors. Not glamorous, but mine. Mom called it pretend decorating. She told people I was unemployed. One afternoon, a cafe owner messaged me. "Heard you design interiors online. Need help visualizing my new space." I nearly cried with relief. We met, exchanged ideas, and he said, "Your eye's amazing." 3 days later, as I sent final renders, another message pinged. "Sorry, can't work with you. Got a warning call. Someone said you missed deadlines." My heart dropped. "Who?" I typed. He hesitated. "A woman claiming to be your mother. Said she's protecting me from bad investments." I just stared at the screen. The audacity left me trembling. She'd sabotaged my job. Again. I closed my laptop and sat in darkness for a long time. Then I whispered, "All right, Mom. You want to play games? I'll learn the rules." A few days later, the cafe owner wrote again. "I'm using your designs anyway. Under another name. N. Lee, maybe?" That message felt like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. I resent every file, signed the invoice as N. Lee, and got paid in cash. That same week, a small startup messaged me after finding my portfolio online. They were building an AI-based real estate app and wanted visuals that felt human. Payment. Partial equity. I hesitated, then said yes. I poured everything into it. Color theory, 3D textures, layouts until dawn. My fingers cramped, but I couldn't stop. Every click of my mouse felt like rebellion. When our prototype launched, users flooded in. 50,000 downloads the first week. The CEO wrote, "You just changed our trajectory, Emily." I stared at that message until tears blurred it. In the silence of my cramped apartment, I laughed through tears. Maybe dreams could pay bills, just not the ones Mom cared about. The victory was brief. Daniel texted, "Mom needs the car tomorrow. She says you're not using it anyway." I typed, "I have meetings." He replied, "Then bus it. You wanted independence." The arrogance made me smile. Tired. Bitter. I opened our old prenup from my drawer. One clause jumped out. Financial coercion by family constitutes misconduct. My pulse steadied. I snapped a photo, labeled it Evidence 6. That evening I made dinner for one. Pasta, wine, silence. When Daniel came home, he sniffed the air. "You didn't cook for both? I wasn't sure you'd come." He frowned. "You're getting cold. Maybe I'm just done waiting." He scoffed and walked off. I poured another glass of wine, opened my laptop, and typed, "Plan B, exit strategy." Every insult went into that file. Quiet doesn't mean powerless. It means patient. My lawyer, Carmen, was younger than I expected. Sharp eyes, calm tone. After I laid everything out, she leaned back. "You've been documenting? Every text. Every transfer." She nodded. "Good. Keep gathering. Don't confront yet." When I left her office, the air outside felt crisp, charged. "Back home," Daniel asked. "Where were you?" "Interview," I said easily. He didn't care enough to ask for details. Perfect. Later that night, my phone buzzed. Our startup had gone viral. A major influencer posted, "Finally, a home design app that feels alive." Downloads skyrocketed. The CEO texted, "You're our secret weapon." Daniel glanced at me from the couch. "Why are you smiling?" "I just got hired." He grunted. "Hope it pays the bills." I met his gaze. "It will, Daniel. You'll see." 1 week later, I came home to a bright orange notice on the door. 30 days to vacate. Standing nearby was Mom herself, designer bag dangling from her arm. "Helping you face reality," she said sweetly. "You forged my husband's signature?" I asked quietly. She smiled wider. "I'm protecting my son. Your son's 35. And still needs guidance." I looked her straight in the eye. "So do you." She laughed, walking away in heels that echoed against the hall tiles. Inside, the apartment already felt hollow. Fine. I'd already signed a lease downtown. That night, I packed only what mattered. My sketches, hard drive, laptop. As I shut the door for the last time, I whispered, "You just moved me into my future." The new apartment was tiny, but sunlight spilled across the floor like gold. I balanced my phone on a cereal box, hit record, and said softly, "Small spaces deserve big dreams." That 30-second clip became my first post under a brand new handle. House Whisper. No face. Just my voice over time-lapse renders. By morning, 10K views. By night, 50K. Comments flooded in. "This makes me want to redo my whole house." I made another. Then another. Momentum grew faster than I could breathe. Across town, Mom probably still bragged about her responsible daughter-in-law while mocking my art. A cousin sent me a clip of her saying, "Emily's pretending to be an influencer now." I smiled. "Keep watching," I whispered to myself. The thing about underdogs, they evolve when no one's looking. A week later, my inbox exploded. The startup offered me a full-time position, design systems lead, with salary, stock, and creative control. I reread the email 3 times. Heart pounding. That same night, a text popped up from Daniel. "Meant for someone else. Wish you were here instead of my nagging wife." For a long minute, I just stared at the screen, the letters swimming. Then I took a screenshot, labeled it Evidence 32, and sent it to Carmen. My chest hurt, but not from heartbreak, just clarity. At dawn, I brewed coffee, did my hair, and pressed reply, accept. The subject line read, "Let's build something beautiful." Outside, the city buzzed awake. Inside, I felt something stronger than anger. Purpose. I whispered into the morning light. "Let them laugh. I'm not finished yet." Work became my world. Each day, I designed smarter layouts, met people who respected me, and felt a kind of quiet power I'd never known. But outside that bubble, the past kept tugging. One afternoon, Claire called me into her office. "We're planning a small feature about our design team," she said. "We'd like to include your story." My heart skipped. My story? Yes, how you started from scratch. It'll inspire others. Part of me wanted to hide, but another part whispered, "Show them." When the article went live, it exploded online. From homeless to head designer, how Emily Grant turned creativity into career. Comments poured in, hundreds of strangers cheering me on. That night, Daniel called. "You really think you're some kind of celebrity?" he sneered. "No," I said softly. "Just someone you underestimated." He hung up. For the first time, I didn't cry. I smiled. Some stories rewrite themselves when you finally stop asking permission. The next week, I received a call from an unknown number. "Emily? This is Sarah from the Home Collective," a calm voice said. "We'd love to feature your work in our national showcase." I blinked. "You mean like on TV?" She laughed. "Exactly. Think Dream Homes, but digital." I nearly dropped my coffee. They offered to visit my studio, meaning my tiny apartment, to film. My mind raced. I bought cheap plants, rearranged furniture, and scrubbed every inch until midnight. The filming day felt surreal. Lights, mics, people praising my work. When the segment aired, my follower count tripled overnight. Then came the twist. Mom texted me again. "Saw your little interview. Maybe you should have thanked me for pushing you." My chest burned with equal parts fury and amusement. She still believed she created me. I typed back, "You did, Mom. Just not the way you think." Success was sweet, but it came with noise. Mom started showing up at places she'd never visited before. She accidentally ran into me at a design expo, dressed like she belonged to the industry. "Didn't know you were speaking today," she said, voice dripping with pride disguised as concern. "I wasn't," I replied. "They added me last minute." She smiled for the cameras. "Well, I'll tell everyone I discovered you." The irony almost made me laugh. When I got home, she'd left a voicemail. "Your brother's bragging about your app. You should invite us to your office sometime." I stared at my phone. This was the same woman who once called my career pretend. Now she wanted access. I hit delete. Some bridges don't burn. They rot quietly until they collapse under their own weight. Meanwhile, the app's next update broke every record. Investors flooded in, journalists kept calling, and Claire insisted we take a week off to rest. I used the time to travel. A solo trip to the coast. Salt air, crashing waves, silence. I hadn't realized how much I needed to breathe. One morning, while sketching at a cafe, an elderly woman noticed my work. "You have peace in your lines," she said. That single sentence pierced me deeper than any praise. I thought about my mother's words, about Daniel's silence, about every time someone told me I'd fail. Peace, that's what I'd been chasing all along. I smiled and said, "Thank you." I fought for it. When I returned home, I found a letter waiting. A legal one. From my lawyer. Carmen's note read, "Proceeding with asset retrieval. Settlement phase next." I exhaled slowly. It was happening. The calm before the justice. Daniel called again that evening. "Mom says you're dragging this out of spite," he said, his voice smaller now. "We can fix things if you just drop it." I kept my tone steady. "Drop what?" "My rights." He groaned. "You've changed." "Yes," I said. "That's the point." He went quiet. Before hanging up, he muttered, "You'll regret making enemies." I smiled. "Only if they're worth fearing." When I ended the call, I emailed Carmen to confirm our next court date. Later, while editing a new House Whisper video, I paused at my reflection in the screen. My eyes looked different. Still kind but harder. Somewhere between the insults and the independence, I'd become someone new. The hearing day came. I dressed in navy blue, professional, calm, ready. Mom sat behind Daniel in court, her posture regal, expression smug. She whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear, "She's making a scene." Carmen squeezed my arm. "Let them talk." We presented the recordings, the bank transfers, the text messages. Every piece of evidence landed like quiet thunder. Daniel's face drained of color. Mom fidgeted, finally realizing this wasn't her stage. The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Grant, coercion and interference are clear. You'll return the seized funds and release all shared assets within 30 days. Mom gasped, but the gavel had already fallen. I walked out without looking back. Outside, Carmen grinned. You did it. I nodded, blinking fast to keep tears at bay. For the first time in years, the world felt even. The news traveled fast. Faster than I expected. A reporter picked up the court summary, and within days, headlines blared, "Designer wins case against family exploitation." Suddenly, people wanted interviews. Brands emailed for collaborations. I almost said no, until Claire said gently, "Sometimes telling your story helps others." So I agreed. The segment aired the following week. I watched from my couch, coffee in hand. There I was, telling the world that creative dreams can pay bills and build empires. Within hours, my followers doubled again. House Whisper hit 500,000 subscribers. Then came one final text from Mom. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm proud now." For a long time, I stared at it. Then I typed back, "I know. But pride isn't an apology." And for once, she didn't reply. The morning after the interview, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Journalists, investors, old classmates, they all wanted a piece of the self-made designer. It felt surreal. The same people who once laughed now wanted to collaborate. I scrolled through messages, heart thudding, until one name froze me, Daniel. His text read, "You were right. I'm sorry." For a moment, I almost replied. Almost. Then I remembered sitting at that dinner table, his silence as my mother tore me apart. I locked my phone and set it face down. Some doors shouldn't be reopened. Instead, I grabbed my sketchbook and began drafting ideas for my own company. A place that would merge tech and design the way I'd always dreamed. I named it Lumos Design Studio. Light after darkness. By sunset, I'd built a website and filed for registration. I looked around my apartment, still small but humming with possibility. "I'm not the story they told," I whispered. "I'm the one they'll remember." Weeks passed like a movie montage. My following hit 1 million. Brand partnerships rolled in. Lumos became more than a logo. It was a community. Designers wrote to me from around the world, asking for mentorship. Then one afternoon, while filming a House Whisper episode, a comment popped up live. "Your mom's touring your old neighborhood bragging she taught you everything." I froze mid-sentence, then laughed. Of course she was. Later that night, curiosity won. I drove past her house for the first time in months. Lights blazed. Cars lined the driveway. Through the window, I saw her hosting some club gathering, gesturing proudly at a magazine with my face on it. "She's my daughter," I could almost hear her saying. I sat there for a minute, feeling the sting of irony fade into something gentler. Maybe she needed that story to survive her own pride. I didn't need revenge anymore. I had proof. I drove home under a sky full of stars, whispering, "Let her brag." The next big surprise came from Claire. She called me into her office, excitement bubbling. "We're expanding. Investors want Lumos under our umbrella, if you agree to partner." I blinked. "You mean merge?" "Equal stake," she said. "You lead the creative side." I sat stunned. The girl who once begged for validation now had billion-dollar decisions waiting on her yes. That night, I walked through my quiet apartment thinking about the journey. Humiliation, eviction, rebuilding. Every memory felt heavier and yet somehow beautiful. I finally whispered, "Yes," to the empty room, and sent the email. By morning, the announcement went public. Lumos x Novatech partnership to redefine home innovation. My inbox flooded again. People calling me visionary. But deep down I just felt calm. I didn't win because they lost. I won because I never stopped creating. The partnership meant travel. Meetings, media, more exposure than I'd ever imagined. On a flight to New York, I stared at the skyline through the window, remembering Mom's words, "Dreams don't pay bills." I smiled to myself. "They paid for this flight," I murmured. At the hotel, an assistant handed me a thick folder. "You'll be speaking at the Women in Innovation Summit tomorrow." My stomach fluttered. Public speaking used to terrify me. But maybe that fear belonged to the old version of me, the one who apologized for dreaming. That night, I practiced in front of the mirror. Don't shrink yourself to fit other people's comfort zones. I pictured Mom sitting in the front row, arms crossed, unimpressed. Then I smiled wider. She'd never show up, but the world would. The summit crowd glowed under stage lights. Hundreds of women, cameras flashing. I took the microphone. Heart pounding. When I started, I said, voice shaking slightly, people told me to be realistic. They said dreams don't pay bills. But maybe the problem wasn't the dream. It was who I was trying to prove it to. Gasps rippled through the room. I smiled, steady now. Turns out, dreams pay for a lot more than bills. They pay for peace. Applause thundered. Some women cried. Afterward, reporters swarmed me, asking for quotes. One of them said softly, "Your mother must be proud." I paused. "She is," I said, then added quietly, "in her own way." Later that night, I scrolled through messages. One from an unknown number stopped me. "You spoke beautifully. I'm proud." I typed back, "Thank you." It was the first honest exchange we'd had in years. The following month brought another twist. A major magazine requested a home tour feature. "Your followers want to see how you live," the editor said. I hesitated. Privacy mattered to me. But then I thought about that dinner table humiliation, the laughter, the disbelief. Maybe it was time to show what those dreams built. So I agreed. The day of the shoot, photographers filled my newly built mansion outside the city. Warm lights spilled across marble floors, every corner designed by my own hand. When the feature went live, the internet went wild, from Dassault to designer. Inside Emily Grant's dream mansion. The clip hit 1 million views overnight. Mom called again, laughing nervously. "I told everyone I always believed in you." I smiled into the phone. "Then I guess we both got what we wanted." I meant it too. Her pride, however false, no longer hurt. I'd already healed. That weekend, I hosted my first charity gala under the Lumos Foundation. The mission: fund scholarships for young women in design. I walked through the grand hall, watching guests bid on art, music filling the air. Halfway through, I saw Mom at the edge of the crowd, dressed elegantly but out of place, clutching her purse like armor. We locked eyes. For a second, neither of us moved. Then I crossed the room and said softly, "I'm glad you came." She exhaled, tension melting. "You did all this?" I nodded. Dreams paid for it. For once, she didn't argue. She just took my hand and whispered, "I'm sorry." It wasn't loud or performative, just real. Tears stung my eyes. "I know," I said. Applause erupted behind us as a donor announced a record-breaking contribution. I smiled through tears. That moment, the forgiveness, the full circle, was worth every sleepless night.